Hello everyone, welcome to the Armageddon Championship Series 2023, the chess show that jumps out at you with more ferocity than a tiger escaping from a poacher's net. We're happy to broadcast live from Berlin, our studio here. I'm Grandmaster Simon Williams, and I'm alongside my good friend, International Master Jovanka Houska.
A pleasure to be here, Simon. And boy, it is the third day of the third tournament. And if you like your numbers splashed with some excitement, well, you're going to be in for a treat. Yesterday, we saw Humpy Koneru and Bibisara Assaubayeva win their matches after much adventure. Let's take a look at yesterday's recap. Day 2 began with an explosive battle between Grandmaster heavyweights Alexandra Kosteniuk and Humpy Koneru. The first game was close until Alexandra panicked in time trouble and Humpy was able to collect the point. The second game was a wild affair full of ups and downs, but Humpy was able to trade the pieces into a drawn endgame to win the match.
In the second match, we saw Dzagnidze versus Bibisara, a really high-level encounter. Bibisara, the reigning world champion, against the previous Blitz world champion. What proved important in this match was the clock. Both games were quite close, but Nana lost on time on both occasions. She did not move on time, and Bibisara got 2 out of 2 and goes through to the next round. Well, what a great day of chess it was yesterday, but today is going to be even more intense because we're looking at the losers bracket. If we bring up the screen now, and in the losers bracket, well, what that means is that there's no more chances. If either player in today's match loses, they go home. They're kicked out onto the lovely street outside.
You make it sound so brutal, Simon.
It is brutal. It's a gladiatorial battle to the death.
That is right. There is no plan B for our players. And let's remind ourselves of the Armageddon format so far. So in March, it was all kicked off by the Americas there. Wesley So and Sam Shanklin both punched their ticket into the grand finals. And in April, it was the turn of Asia and Oceania. And there it was the young Gukesh and Abdusatorov that made their way to the finals.
We've still got the Europe and Africa series to come, but we're concentrating now on this very special event, the Women's Armageddon Week. And here are the players, and let's just remind you that 2 players will qualify for the grand final, so it's a make or break situation, but the tension's going to be so high today. As we've mentioned before, you lose the match, you go home, so it's going to be a very exciting day of chess.
Absolutely, and we have 4 of our players fighting for their lives. They are Alexandra Kosteniuk, Elisabeth Paehtz, Sara Khadem, and Dzagnidze. Oh my God, this is going to be so tense.
It is indeed. Yeah, what a great day of chess.
And as always, we have to thank our partners. And here is Kaspersky. As a technology and digital privacy company, Kaspersky supports the secure advancement of chess in the digital space and its expansion into online tournaments. It's a perfect combination of human excellence and strong technology.
Yeah, so we're getting very close to the start of the first match now. And we'll just have a little look at the bracket this last time. And remember, it is a double elimination. We're concentrating on the lower bracket here. So these 2 matches, they have lost all of their matches so far, the players, so it's their last chance saloon. If they want to stay in the competition, they have to win.
And let's take a look at the first matches. So we see Elisabeth Paehtz, Sara Khadem. That one is going to be very intense, as well as a grandmaster battle between Alexandra Kosteniuk and Dzagnidze. But let's deep dive into our first match of the day, and that is between Elisabeth Paehtz and Sara Khadem.
Yeah, this is going to be very exciting. Both of these players, extremely talented, extremely aggressive. And what is actually interesting, Elisabeth has actually said that she's going to take Sara out for dinner after the match, no matter what happens. I don't know if that's bribery or trying to sweeten your opponent up a little bit, or you know, if she's trying to poison her, she should have done it yesterday, not after the match. But it's great to see the friendship away from the board after a very intense battle on the board.
Yeah, and here we have some of those stats. Elisabeth becoming a grandmaster last year at 37 years old. She's also undoubtedly the strongest woman player in Germany, as well as the winner of the European Women's Rapid Championship in 2018. And this girl is so strong. And let's hear more from her in her own words.
I've started at the age of 5. I was taught by my dad. He's himself a grandmaster, and he gave up his own chess career to raise me and my brother at the early age. And instead of playing himself professionally, he went with us to tournaments and took care that actually we would improve quickly, and we did actually improve in a very rapid way. When I was 14, I was the youngest German women's champion ever from the German point of view. So that was quite special, and that was also like a big step in terms of deciding to become a chess professional. That's the moment when I realized that I can become Germany's #1 in a rather quick way, and that it could be my life. My daily life is a mix of training chess, doing sports, also giving lessons, and besides that, I'm of course having private life with my boyfriend, so in our free time we do a lot of swimming and cooking.
Yeah, what a great player, but her opponent is also a great player. So let's have a look at who Lizzie is going to be facing today. And she is facing Sara, who is only 26 years old, a very aggressive player, very talented player, and a great blitz player. And let's have a look at Sara in her own words.
I started playing since I was 8 years old, and my classmate was a chess player, so she introduced me to the game. She was going to a chess club, and the coach there was the first international master of Iran, Mr. Khosrow. So many of the good chess players actually worked with him, and I was lucky enough to start from there. I got my first, I think, Asian medal after 1 year that I started playing, so since then I got motivated enough to, you know, continue playing. I think the best moment I had was from the World Championship in Russia, the World Rapid and Blitz Championship. So I got 2 silver medals there, and there they had one combined result too, so I got that gold medal next to Magnus Carlsen. So it was a really memorable moment for me.
Well, she will have to pull in a golden performance if she wants to continue in this tournament. And we are less than 1 minute away from the start of play. And let's remind ourselves of the rules. The players will be playing 2 games of blitz at a time control of 3 minutes plus 2 seconds. And if the match is tied, it will go to Armageddon.
That's right, and you should know the rules of Armageddon by now. Why have you not been watching if you don't know the rules? It's 5 minutes to white, 4 minutes to black, but white has to win. And here is our arbiter today, and a very important job that Anastasia has. If there's any disputes, any pieces flying off the board, she's got to deal with them. And we're going to get a lot of action. 15 seconds to go.
I know, not that much time. And there we see the players seated and ready. Elisabeth Paehtz with the white pieces, Sara Khadem with the black pieces. And how will Elisabeth open? She can effectively serve with 2 hands. She can open with e4 or d4, and instead she chooses to continue in the same way as she did in her
She's already
match
blundered with
Gunay.
the clock.
What's
She's already
there?
blundered. She's made a blunder. She hasn't. Okay, she's got the clock going, just in case. So we have quite a traditional start so far. Okay, the 4 knights. We're seeing this a lot so far, and this move is a very crafty move in actual fact. Trying to take Sara out of her preparation, and the best move now is probably to push the pawn in front of the queen 2 squares. But there are other options, and yeah, look at the heart rate.
Did you just see the heart rate turn red?
Yes.
We saw that, okay, Sara has been surprised by that little pawn move, and instead it just continues quite normally, closing down the center, and she's going to follow that up with the bishop developing to the e7 square, and just continuing the game.
I wonder if black can now go knight takes pawn. because this is a standard tactic in this type of position, and she didn't do it. There's a possible tactic there. Okay, Sara's going for a more solid approach, and if I was white, I'd be pushing that pawn 2 squares, but Lizzie is just keeping it very contained, and she's trying to claim a slight advantage because her bishop, which she moved out, is more active than its counterpart, and it's all about the activity of your pieces.
Ooh. And did you see another little developing move there from Lizzie? She's pushed the pawn to a3, and now she's doing the same with her h-pawn.
It's quite sort of containing the opponent, isn't it? And the idea of that move is to stop Sara's bishop coming in, but she's gone straight in with the knight to the middle. And this is quite a brave move, because Lizzie can now capture that knight with her knight and double black's pawns. And double pawns are not very good because they get in the way of each other. So maybe Lizzie could do this to get it. I would certainly take it. Oh, she's playing very cautiously today. She's biding her time. This is not a bad idea. Get the bishop out of the way. That's a silent assassin. And I feel that Lizzie still has a small edge here. Good move from Sara, though, trying to get rid of that active bishop.
Definitely a great move from Sara. And a big decision for Lizzie. What does she do? Does she maintain the tension? Where's she going with the king? And she does answer that by castling king aside. And now the white rook is not on the best square, but then again, it will get relocated back into the game. Quite sharpish.
That's right, and I feel that Sara's done a great job of equalizing with some very precise moves. Look at the heart rate. Sara's heart rate is a bit higher. Maybe a good thing. She's in the zone. And the evaluation bar on the right-hand side of the board is pretty even. And with this last move, Elisabeth does develop her last piece that wants to get in the game. And Sara's saying, what are you going to do with that piece? I'm going to give it a kick. Are you going to capture the knight or move away? And Lizzie has just come back.
Yeah, she's keeping the tension, and Sara, she's not surprised in the slightest. She simply reroutes the knight to a better square and is offering a trade of dark square bishops.
I really like what Sara's doing so far, but I mean, the position does remain equal. Sara is looking for exchanges just to get rid of some of her bad pieces, and this is going to get rid of both of the bishops, and you have to think which knight is better. And I kind of like Black's knight. Black's knight could jump in. So Lizzie's saying, no, I don't want to exchange. Well, if I do exchange, I'm going to do it on my terms. I want to do it in the way I want to do it. Very aggressive move from Sara there. Swinging that rook, one of my favorite maneuvers, the rook swinger.
And well, both players have now decided to step into the ring, because just as Sara played that aggressive rook move, well, Lizzie says, you know what, I don't want to wait around anymore. I'm not going to maneuver. I'm going to blast the center open. After all, White's rook is lined up against the black queen, and decisions have to be made. We see a trade of bishops, and very interesting. How is Sara going to handle the tension in the middle? Is she simply going to pile up by doubling her rooks on the E-line? Is she going to capture the pawn? Instead, she sidesteps with her queen. And this is a really nervy game. Both players, you know, just playing a very positional way. And Lizzie, I like the way she's playing. It's very simple chess, but the plan is quite straightforward. She's going to occupy the D-line, and now she's going to plant her queen onto the D7 square and say, hey, let's trade.
Yeah, I mean, you've got an open file in the middle of the board now, and whoever controls the open file generally has the advantage, and Lizzie is controlling the open file of our rook and queen. A cheeky little move from Sara there. The black queen is targeting one of Lizzie's pawns, so Lizzie just moves that pawn to a square. I mean, it still remains pretty even. Great move from Sara saying, no, get away, queen. And that black knight is threatening to win the queen, so the queen now runs away. But Lizzie does have control of the open file. I'd certainly want to be white in this position. Good move, stopping the black knight coming in there.
Excellent move by Lizzie there. And also, look how her pawns are just edging up the board. So very slight advantage for Lizzie. And you can see that reflected in the computer evaluation, saying, you know, white is a touch better.
Yeah, and maybe Lizzie could use Harry the H-pawn as well to try and kick the knight away. Sara is just sort of waiting here and saying, okay, I'm going to wait and see and wait for my opportunity. And Lizzie now trying to take more control of that open line. This is great traditional classical play from Lizzie. Get the rooks on the open file, control all the air on that long file. But I think one thing we can see already, Jovanka, is that there's much more nerves involved with this game.
Big trick on the board that Lizzie's just set up. She's actually threatening to come in with a knight to the d5 square, getting ready to set some tactics.
But Sara is too good to fall for something like that. Lizzie now trying to maneuver her knight to a better square. I'm not exactly sure where that knight's going to head to. Sara doing the same thing, bringing her knight into the middle of the board. And time could be very important here. The black knight is doing a great job. I actually really like what Sara has done here.
She's lost control of the D-line. And suddenly it is Lizzie that's on the back foot.
It is indeed. Remember, the open file in the middle of the board is the most important thing in the position, and black has now taken over that file with the rook. The black knight centralizes in the middle of the board. There's more exchanges, and now white has got a worse pawn structure. The black queen attacks white's pawn in the middle, and that pawn is a permanent weakness, so black has taken control.
Completely taken control, and now the knight and the queen are attacking the d3 pawn. It forces Lizzie to go on the defensive, but the question is, how is black going to break through?
Well, black offering an exchange of queens because she's saying, well, my knight in this ending is better than yours. The black knight has a more dominant square, and in the ending, what you need to bring your king into the game, and I expect both sides will rush in with their king now. The tension, 50 seconds roughly each at the moment.
Absolutely. I mean, this position is still very chaotic. It's very crazy. It's not really clear which side is better, despite the evaluation bar just saying, hey, it's equals. It's not. Anything can happen.
Definitely. I mean, a lot of people think endings are a bit boring, but they're not at all. Endings can be very exciting, and the black knight is now looking for a better square. It wants to jump in, or maybe the black king.
The black king is going to do a runner and try to get those pawns, especially the pawn on a5. And that's why Lizzie says, you know what, I have a pawn majority there on the right side of the board. Those are the pawns I will be targeting. And take a look at the heart rate. Sara Khadem, she is up to 141 beats per minute. That's incredible.
We're getting a lot of changes here as well, Jovanka. First of all, Elisabeth wins a pawn, but in the next move, Elisabeth is going to win a pawn on this move. Sara's already won a pawn. Whose pawn is going to be stronger? I can see a decisive result happening. It's going to come down to nerves. Who's got the better nerves? Who can get a pawn to the queening square the quickest? Sara is throwing that pawn on the side up the board, and it does look like that could be a very dangerous pawn, but Lizzie is now moving her knight, trying to get it back around to defend against that pawn, trying to help on that area of the board, the queen side. Maybe it's still fairly even. Really, really tense.
And I was going to ask the question, is Lizzie going to bail out with a draw? But she says no. And now decision time for Sara. What is she going to do? Attack the knight? Where is that white knight going? I mean, it has to step back to the a3 square, but then that's not great.
I agree, Jovanka. I actually think that Lizzie's knight maneuver from one side of the board to the other has not worked out well, and I think if she gets a draw, she'd be very happy here. Lizzie should probably take the draw.
Definitely.
And they're repeating the position, Jovanka. Is it going to be a draw?
I'm not sure. I sense that Sara knows that she is in a commanding position, and actually the players have repeated.
Draw agreed.
Draw agreed.
Yeah.
And wow, that game was so evenly matched.
That was one of the tensest games I think we've seen. I mean, both sides maybe had a small advantage, but nothing massive there. Neither side had a material advantage. There is the result. It's a draw, so it's going to go to the next game. And the reason it is a draw there, if you're wondering at home, is if you repeat the same position 3 times, then it's basically declared a draw. It's sort of neither side can make progress. There's no checkmate happening, so they just shake hands and get on with the next game.
Yeah, but what a game. And here we're looking at some of the critical moments. I mean, here it was a very evenly matched game. Lizzie choosing a very quiet opening, and after some trades, it felt like anything could happen. It was very cagey, and there we see Lizzie getting ready to mobilize the rooks.
Yeah, that's right. And around about there, Sara did a great job of equalizing. But later on in this position, you can see that Lizzie now opens up a line in the middle, and her queen and her rook, a really nice position. Look at that queen dive into the position there. In we go, boys, over the top into the position. And that was a great move, getting control of an important file there.
Yeah, absolutely. And well, here things start to take a turn for the worse as Sara, through some very nifty maneuvering, actually finds a great way to apply the pressure, and she takes control over the D line. And it felt like here that Sara was well on her way to actually bulldozing over Lizzie's defenses.
Yes, that's right. And we got to the ending there where both sides seem to play very well. So we've got a minute until the next game. It's getting exciting. Place your bets. And Sara has the advantage of having the white pieces.
Yes, she can control the pace of the game. And we are less than 1 minute away from the start of play. That's not a lot of recovery time for the players, especially after that very nervy finish at the end. But the players will have to reset, because whoever wins this game will be moving on to the next round. Whoever loses, that's it.
I mean, one of the exciting things about chess, and you get this, it's all going to come down. You can play a whole tournament and it comes down to just one game. This one game will decide who doesn't get much money, who gets knocked out, but it also decides who goes through and has a chance to win a tremendous amount of money and get a place in the grand final. So there's so much on the line. If they're not nervous here, there's something wrong with them. I bet their heart rates are going to be skyrocketing.
There we see the handshake, and you're right. You can already see that Sara is actually beginning the game with 127. That's a very high, as you can see. And Elisabeth actually employing the King's Indian defense, perhaps utilizing a tactic that Alina Kashlinskaya did against Sara in their earlier encounter.
Yeah, one of the things in chess you must do is prepare for your opponent. We actually saw the position that we see on the board pretty much in an earlier round, and Lizzie does great preparation. Oh yes, a brilliant move there. The H-pawn flies up the board, getting ready to attack Black's king, and now White should probably just push this pawn in the middle. I notice opening this position incredibly well, and that little white pawn can be very dangerous. But Lizzie playing a counter-attack, gambiting a pawn to get some play, open up lines on the left-hand side of the board. So Sara is a pawn up, but yeah, sorry.
Yeah, no, I mean, in fact, I think that this exact position was actually played very recently, just now in the Grand Chess Tour.
You had something very similar with one of the best players in the world, Fabiano Caruana, against MVL, a French genius. And yes, this is one of the sort of known ways of Black to try and get counterplay. It's actually very dangerous in this shorter time limit, because you can see those open lines that Black has, and Black can use those open lines to try and get lots of play on that area of the board. But White is a pawn up at the end of the day. It is a pawn. But
White has problems with the king.
Yes.
And when it comes to the blitz time control, it is really all about protecting the king. And where is the White king going to go? Now, I have a golden rule in chess, which is when your king is under pressure, try and trade off queens. Try to neutralize things that way. But with Elisabeth's last move, just looking down at that B2 pawn, well, that's not going to be easy to handle.
Jovanka, this position is an omni-shambles for White. It's a complete disaster, because the White king has been trapped in the middle, as you mentioned. It can't castle because you can't move your king through check, and the Black queen is cutting the White king off in the middle of the board. So all that Elisabeth needs to do is introduce more pieces towards White's king, so get those knights moving. You could not ask for a better position than this with the Black pieces, and you've got a minute extra on the clock. I think Sara's going to be very nervous about how things are going.
Yeah, and well, you gave the instructions, Simon, and Elisabeth has listened. And look at that. She's now, with her rook moved to b4, it's actually targeting the weak e4 pawn.
I reckon
this is going wrong so badly for Sara.
Yeah, I mean, this offer of a meal that Elisabeth gave to Sara before the match, it could be a crafty ploy. And look, now the knights are coming in, right, Jovanka? That knight can centralize. But the main problem is the white king. If white was castled here, white would be doing fine. But white is stuck in the middle. And the white king needs to be safe. Okay, Sara trying to get some counterplay, moving the bishop to attack the pawn, but you probably don't even need to worry about the pawn. A little tactic. The bishop comes in with a check, and this gets rid of a key defender. Now the rook comes across with another check. Look at the king. The king is in real trouble. The bishop has to block that check there, but the pressure is building and building.
It is, and it is really dire for white. White just simply has to burn the bridges and hold on. You know, there is no plan B for Sara. As long as she can keep the game alive, it's gonna be an uphill task, because it's not just the pawn on e3 that is weak. It's not just the white king. It's also the pawn on a2 that is dropping. Everything is falling apart. And on top of that, the pawn on d5 is being attacked. How is Sara gonna escape this? She needs to be the next Houdini here.
Elisabeth has played a fantastic game so far. She's looked so relaxed. I mean, look at the evaluation bar. It doesn't show any color white. It's all in black's favor. And there you go. Lizzie gets her pawn back. The queen comes into the position, and the black rook behind it might come in next. I think Sara has to try castling here and just pray. Just castle and pray. It doesn't look good, but what else can you do?
Yeah, you said it there, Simon. Pray being the optimal words. I mean, you have to remember, humans aren't perfect and they do make mistakes on occasion, but Elisabeth is relentless. You know, she's grabbed another pawn.
She looks very focused in this game, Elisabeth, and the time is also against Sara. Brilliant game so far, and she actually just resigns. Wow, I was surprised that she didn't try to fight on, but it was, of course, a hopeless scenario. And I mean, that just showed real class and experience, I think, came through there. Elisabeth, the older player, has been in this situation more times than Sara. We know how good both players are, but that really showed there.
Yeah, from the very clever choice of opening to the way that she conducted that attack, Elisabeth Paehtz played a very impressive game. And we have to say hard luck to Sara there. The players have spotted a weakness that Sara probably will have to go back and work on. But unfortunately, Sara is now out of the competition.
Yeah, our first player to actually leave the competition, Sara, and it's always sad to have that, but it's a brutal game. You know, that's what happens, and losing is never fun, is it really? But Elisabeth can certainly now afford to buy dinner for Sara, and Sara might even have to have a glass of wine with that one, I feel.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there we see some critical moments, how Elisabeth countered Sara's aggressive opening with a strike on the queen side.
Yeah, that was a typical idea in that position, and I think the key thing was that Elisabeth got the initiative, and you know, they say the best form of defense is attack, and rather than defending with a quick time limit, it's much more fun to keep the pressure up and attacking, and that is actually a key tactic in blitz chess, which happens a lot more than classical chess, because it's a lot harder to defend when the time is ticking away. You get the pressure, you get the tension.
And one of the advices that I gave Elisabeth before this game was, I said, protect your king. And she said, yep, absolutely. Yeah. And she went about attacking her opponent's king.
Yeah. So we're now going to have an interview with the two players, and we're going to start with very shortly to hear the words of the loser, Sara, who, well, she just got herself in a bit of trouble there in that game. I mean, it's so hard to defend, and you know, Lizzie played a fantastic attacking game as well. I mean, what can you do? You know, it's hard to defend such things. Definitely very hard. And we are going to go over to David, who is having an interview with Sara.
Sara, very difficult second game. How are you feeling right now?
I am okay, but I think the opening choice that I made, I mean, the choice was obviously not a good one, and that was my main mistake for the second one, because I played something that I don't really know well, and she was well prepared, so I think that was it for the second one.
So that you came into this, you prepared this, and it just went wrong?
Yeah, it's a line that I don't play that often. I just wanted to play it for blitz, but in both games I played it with white, and I lost both my games, so I think it was obviously not a good choice that I made.
Now, how did you feel going into this match?
Well, Elisabeth is a good friend of mine, so apart from that, I was looking forward to play with her. I think she's a really good player, and both games were really enjoyable for me, so I enjoyed it.
Very glad to hear it, and it's very unfortunate that we won't have you at the club, but I'm wondering what's next for your chess career now?
Thank you. So I will play some leagues after all, and then I will decide, because I haven't decided yet for my next tournament.
I see. Well, it's very good to have you here, and we hope to have you back at the club soon, and best of luck with everything. And we're back with Simon and Jovanka in the studio.
Thank you, David. And it's a great pleasure to have here with us in the studio Elisabeth Paehtz, who just defeated Sara Khadem. So how are you feeling?
Well, I'm relieved that I didn't lose again in a way that, and I mean, I'm the German here, and I was hoping at least to survive one match would be nice, not to get out of this event like with a kind of German embarrassment or something like that. So it's rather a relief than anything else.
It was a really good second game, though. I mean, you got the initiative and you kept it up, and yeah, it seemed like you played very good standard there.
It was home prep. Actually.
Home prep, okay, wow.
I mean, like
yeah.
bishop e2, bishop e3, I was checking briefly, like if she would repeat, and then I was like going on the cloud engine, and I was checking what is the most dangerous in a like short time distance.
Yeah.
And then I realized after knight d7, if you play with g4, then c5, b5, no, if you play with g4, then still c5, and after g5, knight h5, you sacrifice this pawn, and this is super dangerous.
Right.
And if you play with h5, then this idea with c5, b5. I mean, it was like a 5 minutes prep, but I didn't expect it to turn out so well.
Good preparation then.
Yes.
Brilliant preparation. And we also heard a rumor that you blackmailed your opponent and you promised them a dinner, no matter what the result. Was that a bit of a psychological ploy, or was that just because you're friends, I guess?
No, we're actually quite close friends. So for me, actually, like, no matter who would be the winner of this match, I would be either happy for her or she would be happy with for me. That's what I'm thinking, at least. And so I will ask her if she wants to have a dinner or a lunch tomorrow in case she's still here, but I don't know, actually.
Yeah. I mean, it's really hard playing your friends generally, and I know we've all done it before, and one of the great things is as soon as the game's over, you can try to kill them at the board, but you're good friends again afterwards, right? And that would be nice to
That's
get a dinner
actually in chess quite common. I mean, like among us lady players, at least, we have quite a few close friendships, and despite like of the match, I mean, inside the match we are rivals, obviously, but after the match we can forget about it. I mean, I had a similar case with Anna Muzichuk, I think 2 years ago or 1.5 years ago during the World Cup. I had to play her and I lost the match against her, but it's not like that my first thought is like, you know. My thought would rather be like, okay, like let's go until the end and kick them all. That was my hope or my dream for her. I mean, she made it to the semi-finals, but not quite to the final. But yet, I mean, I would wish her all the best.
And looking ahead to the brackets, you'll be facing either the loser between Humpy Koneru and Bibisara Assaubayeva. Have you ever played any of these?
I didn't even know who I would be facing, to be honest. I played both of them quite a lot of times in blitz, actually, against Bibisara, at least over the board. Blitz should be now 1-1. I lost to her once. I beat her. Okay, online I always lose against her, but in normal chess, at least in Almaty, I beat her, even though she later won the tournament. And for Humpy, it's also so. I mean, I don't remember quite, but of course, before the tournament, those two I would actually consider to be the favorites of the tournament. That they have to play at such an early stage is surprising, but what to do?
Yeah, I mean, do you have a preference? I mean, they're both extremely tough fighters, but if you had to pick one, I've got to put you on the spot because you always put me on the spot. So which one would you go for, Lizzie?
I would always, because me myself, I'm 38, so I'm among the older ones, and I always believe that if you're very young, you have a much quicker perception, so I would always choose the older one. I mean, if I have a preference. But it's not like anything personal, it's just I believe that age actually in this time control really matters.
Yeah. Certainly. So it's going to be a very tough match, that one, but at least you're through, and that must feel good. So you can relax now. How do you relax here? A glass of wine? Any other plans at all?
Actually, like, you know, I already got myself today a booby prize, which means like if I had lost today, I would go on Friday evening to the opera, but now I can't. So the booby prize is gone, but at least like tomorrow I have a free day, so I will see what's going on in the city center. Maybe I find another musical or opera tomorrow. Let's see.
Okay.
And you're actually now a Berliner. So
Yes.
what's it like playing on home soil?
Well, I'm not quite in Berlin. I'm outside of Berlin, but yet Berlin is like my home city. And actually, I always loved to play in home cities because you don't have to travel. Unfortunately, we don't really have big women or international events in Berlin, at least in the women's section. So I'm really, really thankful to the World Chess team to host such an event in my city center, despite the fact I still believe, and I said it yesterday, Berlin is the best city in the world.
And Lizzie, I mean, we're going to go back very shortly, but you are, I've heard you singing, so you say you're going to the opera, but you're actually, your hidden skill is singing. Can you just sing us one line very quickly now?
Boy.
I'm not putting you on the spot at all, just very quickly, quick.
Okay. Vina Vatalia, Vina Vatalia, Vina Vatalia, što lublю.
Perfect. Okay, well, that was fantastic. And,
But you don't know what I said.
No.
I don't, but
If
it was
I'm
fantastic.
guilty or not that I love you. That's what I was singing.
Okay.
Oh.
Well, we got a very nice surprise there, and but the next match is going to be starting very shortly, so we will now get ready for that match.
Good luck in the
Thank
arena.
you.
And time to mention one of our partners, FIDE Online Arena, which hosts rated tournaments and games 24 hours per day. Join the arena and you'll get a FIDE ID, a profile on FIDE.com, access to pro chess community, official online ratings and titles recognized by the International Chess Federation. There's prize money tournaments and so much more. So play official games at chessarena.com.
And the action has not stopped for the day. We've got another big matchup now. We have Alexandra against Nana, and these two are titans of the game as well. Fantastic players, and yeah, it's going to be really hard to know what's going to happen. It's going to be exciting.
It absolutely is, and just checking the statistics, it's like these two have played more than 50 games in all types of chess in over 14 years, and actually Alexandra does have the advantage.
Yeah, I mean, she's a great player, and we can bring up some of the stats and you can just see it for yourself here. She was a grandmaster at the tender age of 20. She has been a women's world champion before, and she's had a great couple of years recently. She won the Women's World Cup in 21 and also the Women's World Rapid Championship. So she's on good form at the moment.
And let's hear more about Alexandra Kosteniuk in her own words.
I've been playing chess since the age of 5, so more than 30 years now. My father taught me to play chess. I must say that he's been a very good teacher and mentor in that way. It's been quite a long career, so the most memorable win for me is the recent one. But I've been very fortunate to have like very big victories in the last 2 years. This year, 2023, I won a very strong Grand Prix tournament in Munich, and then 2021 was a dream come true year for me when I won the Women's World Cup. and I became the Women's World Rapid Champion 2021. I think is my best year so far.
Truly a legend of the game, but she is up against Nana Dzagnidze, who not only has been a former world blitz champion, but also a grandmaster at 21 years old, and also women's European champion in 2017, as well as winning the gold medals with the Georgian women's team many times. And let's hear more about Nana in her own words.
I've been playing chess for 30 years. I've started playing chess when I was 6, and my father taught me how to play chess because chess was very popular in Georgia. He wanted me to become a world champion one day. When I'm not playing chess, I spend my time usually with my family, with my kids. I love reading. I love doing some sports activity, and I love walking in the parks. It's not easy, I would say, but I try to balance my professional life and personal life, and I try to divide time evenly. For women, for professional chess players, it's more challenging to be successful in chess career and also at home with your family, with your kids.
Yeah, a great player, and we're only moments away now from the start of what could be quite a legendary match here. These two titans of the game, both very experienced. It's going to be very hard to call. One thing is for sure, though, we saw Nana yesterday. She lost both of her games on time, so she's got to move quicker. That's what we need to see today. Our heart rate was unbelievable, the lowest heart rate we've ever seen. I don't know if she's going to keep that up in this game, but it'll be very exciting to see, very interesting.
Definitely, and she definitely does need the adrenaline pounding through her veins just to give her that edge and make sure that she actually presses the clock in time. And we see Alexandra Kosteniuk with the white pieces, Nana playing black. And Alexandra Kosteniuk has a very powerful game. She relies a lot on her powers of endurance and also playing very sharp openings. For Nana, it's more strategical. It's all about harmonizing the pieces, and they are off. And Alexandra opening with the e-pawn, and oh, I have not seen this one before from Nana. She deploys the Caro-Kann.
I hear the Caro-Kann is a terrible opening. Oh, sorry, it's Jovanka's favourite opening. It's a very good opening. I would have thought the danger in this match for Nana is the opening, because Alexandra is generally much better prepared than a lot of players out there. And as Jovanka mentioned, she plays very aggressive chess, so you could get slaughtered before you get out of bed. And, well, you probably know more about this position, but before we go on to that, Jovanka, her heart rate is extremely low again. Nana, 77.
Yeah, she did actually say in her interview that she didn't quite understand why her heart rate could be so low, because she actually didn't feel very calm. She actually felt quite nervous. And there we see White maneuvering the knight to c2, is getting ready to relocate herself to e3 to put pressure on the light square bishop. Now, this is a very, very tense position in this particular Caro-Kann. White is simply saying, you know what, I'm going to maximize my position. I'm just going to prevent all the pawn breaks there is. Black, on the other hand, is actually, now that c5 has been prevented, is going to be all about that f7, f6 pawn break. Now, a word of warning for White: if White keeps control, it's going to be a great game for White. But if White makes one wrong move, and Black will be let out of the cage, and Black will have great chances actually of even winning the game.
It's a very tense scenario because nothing has been exchanged yet. Every single fighting unit remains on the board, and both players are simply improving their position little by little. I always like in these situations the side which has the more space, because I like maneuvering behind my space advantage. And if you just look at where things are positioned here, there's a white pawn in black side of the position, but there's not a black pawn in white side of the position. And for me, that would indicate White has a small edge. But this is a really committal move by Nana. She puts her king on that area of the board, but now white could do what we call a pawn storm and start using those pawns to rush towards the black king to try and open up the black king and eventually checkmate it.
That is absolutely what we're going to see. And here we go. Alexandra immediately goes for that pawn storm. She's actually threatening to push that pawn one square forward to c5 and then follow through with the other pawns. Now, Nana has to perhaps take that pawn, or if she's not going to do that, she's simply going to tuck her king into the corner, withstand the onslaught, and then focus her energies in the middle of the board.
I think Alexandra is getting quite excited there. You see her heart rate has gone up into the red. I have to say, I really don't like black's position. It just seems that the black king is a target, but white's king is quite safe at this moment in time. And in this blitz chess, we saw that Lizzie was talking about it's the side which has the attack, the best form of defense, the best form of anything. And with this last move, white is getting ready to push the pawns and line up against the black king.
Definitely. And you can see there, Nana is actually little by little improving her pieces. You know, she's centralized the knight. The knight is perhaps getting ready to jump to the f4 square. Perhaps Nana will also try to counterattack there on the king side.
Nana's heart rate seems to go down. It's incredible. I mean, I don't know how she keeps it so low, but she's got to find some counterplay here, because at the moment, white Alexandra is just building up her position to get ready for the final kill to break through to Nana's king. On the other hand, black, okay, I like this move. Black's got to go for the white king. You've got to go proactive. Maybe push the pawn towards white's king. She moved the bishop in. I like this, at least. And that bishop can be a good defender as well.
Exactly, and that bishop is going to plant itself on the d5 square. And, you know, suddenly black's position does have some menace. The pawns are going to advance forward there. You can see bishop attacks the queen. Alexandra will, of course, see that threat and make her move. She relocates the queen to the center. And again, I like the way that Alexandra's been playing this position. Yes, you know, the queen is keeping an eye on the king and also at the same time getting ready to start an attack against black's own monarch.
I like some of the maneuvers that Nana's doing, though. Her bishop in the middle is a real key piece. Look at that black bishop. It attacks and it defends, and there's some exchanges here. But the problem that Nana might have is just the long-term initiative, and we see it, is with white. White is in a better position to open up black's king. I mean, I don't know if black's going to get a chance against white's king, but it really is who's got that edge, who's got the attack. And with that last move, white is ready and opening up lines immediately. Yeah. So it must be in her side. And Nana, she's lost on time twice. Could she do it 3 times?
Yes, she is in a difficult position. And there we can see that the evaluation bar actually confirms that Alexandra does have a significant advantage. But it's very much a temporary advantage. If Alexandra again makes some inaccuracies, black's disadvantage is going to be it's going to fizzle away.
Yep, Alexandra had a much higher heart rate, nearly 50 beats higher than Nana there. And Nana trying to swap off some pieces to get rid of the pressure. I think one of the main issues that Nana's really got to be on the ball about is her clock time. Keep an eye on that time, everyone, because if that time, she's got to move up a pace. She did not do this yesterday. She can't spend this much time on a move. She has to move. She's taken the bishop, but now white has a nice choice, and another pawn joins in the attack. Black getting ready on the open file. Can white open up black's king anymore? This is the big question.
It is a tempting question, and there you can see the rook lining up on b1, and of course Alexandra is getting ready to make the breakthrough. b5, b6, and Nana just under 20 seconds on the clock, but her heart rate does not actually betray any emotions.
We have a blunder. I think b6 is now going to be winning because a6, bishop takes pawn. Boom! Put that in your pipe and smoke it. She hasn't seen it. She's played a very defensive move. It looked to me that there was a very strong continuation there for Alexandra, but it's still the time. Come on, Nana, you've got to move. It's still there, this tactic. Can't you just go b6 here?
She's played
it. She's played what looks like a great move, Jovanka.
Definitely a great move. I agree with you, Simon. I don't think you can touch the A-pawn. And here comes Nana's counter. And now what Nana will do is, Nana will leave that pawn on A7. The black king will hide behind it. But Alexandra is relentless.
Do you know what's better than one pawn coming at you? Two pawns. And that other pawn of white's, I would keep the queens on the board. Alexandra has, because she's going for checkmate. Push that A pawn. The black king is just getting too exposed.
And Nana,
here.
just 4 seconds, 3 seconds on the clock, and she retreats the knight. But her king is in such a precarious situation, and Alexandra just building the pressure. Rook comes on the B line.
Black is trying to defend everything, but this can't last. Another great move from Alexandra.
Last. 3 seconds.
There's too much coming here, and look at those pawns. Those pawns are
and
too
another
strong.
one, and that's over.
Is she going to lose on time?
She will. Or if she's not going to lose on time, she's going to lose on position. I mean, you cannot fight with those passed B and A pawns.
Yeah, there's just too many white pieces flooding towards black's king. Alexandra, she's just got to keep her cool here. Nana's doing a great job of defending, but there's too many threats. Surely pawn on is checkmate. Let's see it. There's only one move. Move the bishop, and then it's got to be checkmate coming up very soon.
Absolutely checkmate.
Just move the bishop anywhere.
Alexandra, you have 20 seconds. She can take her time.
She's gone for a queen.
Oh, this is very nice.
Beautiful finish there. Even better. What a great way. We saw another queen come on the board, and then checkmate. That was stunning, Jovanka.
Yeah, excellent game from Alexandra Kosteniuk. As soon as Nana castled her king to the wrong side of the board, Alexandra Kosteniuk just looked like she was in complete domination. I mean, what a game from the former Women's World Champion.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to now take a look at some of the highlights of that game, but it really was a case that White had the attack, White got her teeth stuck into the position, and she was just relentless like a Rottweiler, just biting away at that king, ripping it apart, and no matter what Black did, it couldn't defend against that Rottweiling attack. And I've just made up a weird word there, but hey-ho, that's what we do, isn't it? Rottweiling? What on earth does that mean? I don't know. Let's go to the chess.
It means this type of position, and here comes the first surprise with Nana deploying an opening that I'm very familiar with, the Caro-Kann, but in here the inexperience showed. And here we see the players just making their opening moves.
Yeah, the Caro-Kann, very interesting opening, but it was just king safety. King safety is so important in chess, and you can do everything else right. But look at the black king. The black king is just too exposed because White's pawns are so much quicker, and that was a decisive factor in this game.
Yeah, absolutely, and the way that Alexandra played it with such precision, I mean, it was instructive to say the least. And here comes the beautiful last moments of the game. I mean, the White king is helpless against White's pawns there on the queen side. Great game.
Yeah, I mean, she's a fantastic attacking player, Alexandra. I mean, I've seen some brilliant games there, as they both are, but the finish was incredible. Moving a bishop away with an ambush that you can see there, the white queen was attacking the black king, and that was the key thing. So we're into the next game, and we know what Nana needs to do. She needs to win with the white pieces, and we haven't had an Armageddon for a while now. So
I know.
Yeah,
I mean, people do realize
it's called Armageddon.
It's called Armageddon chess.
Yeah, what are they doing? They need to make it Armageddon, don't they?
Exactly. We need to be treated to this spectacle. And we are less than a minute away from the start of the second game. Nana Dzagnidze, she's a powerful Georgian grandmaster, but she also is in a must-win situation. And she faces off against Alexandra Kosteniuk, someone who grew up playing a ton of blitz chess.
Yeah, I mean, we should mention Alexandra's quite a famous streamer as well, goes by the nickname Chess Queen, and she has a lot of experience online and offline playing quick chess, as Nana does as well. But Nana has to get a win, otherwise she is out of this competition. This is last chance saloon, and the game is now off. She plays her standard idea, and Nana generally doesn't like getting involved too much at the start of the game. We'll hope to take over in the middle part of the game.
Definitely, and you can see Alexandra's also played in a very combative way. You know, she decides she is going to maximize the space in the center, take control, and if she gets away with this, then she will have a very promising position.
Do you spot the heart rates there? It's amazing that Alexandra is twice, exactly twice the heart rate of Nana. 75 versus 150 there. Incredible.
That is incredible, actually, because I have to say one thing. Alexandra Kosteniuk is an extremely fit chess player. She runs marathons. She uses running as a form of meditation. So to see the heart rate be so high for Alexandra means that she is really feeling the nerves.
It's actually amazing. I mean, everyone out there, if you haven't played blitz chess before, go and give it a go. It is such a buzz. You know, forget about bungee jumping, forget about base jumping, forget about surfing. Get the chessboard out, get a clock out. You'll have much more of a buzz, maybe.
Yeah,
it is
absolutely.
It is actually. It is incredible, and you can see that from the heart rate. It's just really exciting.
It is really exciting. I mean, I've played blitz games where I've actually ended physically shaking, and I had to run out of the room because I could not control my nerves. The players, in the meanwhile, they've only had maybe 3-4 minutes at the most in order to recover, and there we see the players just maneuvering their pieces. Alexandra stepping back with the bishop to cover the all-important c5 square, and here comes the break. Nana actually stepping forward into the ring and challenging the black position.
Yeah, and that last move for Nana is quite risky because she's moving a pawn in front of her king, but she's got to take risks in this game. A draw is completely useless. The only result that will be any good is a win, and I like that. She's playing proactively, aggressively. That's what you must do in such a situation. She wants to use that little pawn next to the white knight to run up the board. On the other hand, now Alexandra is playing on what we call the queen side, the furthest side away from us. She might use her knight to jump into some juicy squares there. They're both really trying to improve the positioning of their pieces and their pawns and waiting for a good opportunity. Last move is setting up the white pawn to move forwards one more square, attacking black's bishop. So black, Alexandra, moves the bishop out of the way of that idea.
Yeah, I love Alexandra's last move. I mean, white's king is a little bit shaky, doesn't have too much cover, and Alexandra saying, let's actually trade off one of the defenders. The bishops come off the board, and if truth be told, I'm really liking Alexandra's position. I don't see what Nana is going to be doing, how she's going to apply pressure to the black king.
That's quite funny because I was thinking I really like white's position.
Oh.
So I was thinking f6, just sacrifice, go for the attack, come on, show some willing here, you know, just go for it. I mean, or maybe move a knight into the middle. I don't know. I mean, it probably is a good position of black. I wonder what the evaluation bar says. We'll see in a minute. But I kind of like white's position. White needs to win. This is a good move. You're preparing the advance of the pawn. I think black needs to block that idea up, and white is starting to generate a bit of an attack against black's king, but I don't know. It's interesting. Interesting structure.
Definitely interesting. It is a battle between ideas. Those people who like long-term advantages and those people who like to play with fire. And we see Alexandra actually preventing that pawn on f5, stepping forward one square. A nice move as well. Very multi-purpose.
That was a class move. I didn't see that move, and the idea is just to control white's, like you say, one lone assassin. That white pawn is just trying to come up the board, open up black's king, but the black knight is controlling where that white pawn wants to move to by just keep it under lock and key. And okay, so white's bringing the rook up. There's only one white piece that's not on the king side, really. It's the other rook, so white wants to bring in reinforcements. Alexandra putting that pawn in a position where it can't move anymore.
Mm-hmm. And Nana will have to speed up because now she is hovering, she's just gone under the minute mark. And this is where the psychological pressure starts building on a player. And I've noticed that they can withstand, generally a normal person can withstand maybe 30 moves of playing with such high tension, and then at some point you crack and anything happens.
Yeah, it kind of depends if black can hold off those advancing white pawns. The black bishop at the moment is holding off the pawns. Can you keep what's called a blockade? You're blockading your opponent's troops. Can you maintain that blockade as black? Because if you can't, your position could well crumble. And I think now, surely the white knight can jump to a good square. It can either centralize or it can go this way. I like this move. And now Alexandra she's just maintaining that blockade at the moment. She seems to be doing a very good job of keeping things at bay so far. That was a class move, that queen just shuffling over one square.
Yeah, and it's going to be all about, like you say, white's attack versus black's counterattack against the weak e4 pawn. You know, that pawn has a target on its back, and that's why Nana steps forward with a rook to protect it. But in terms of the clock time, Nana now just over 30 seconds.
I think white could start lining up the rooks against black's king. This seems like a very strong plan to me. Maybe tuck the white king in the corner. She's found the right plan. And get both those rooks, just move them one file nearer to us, so they line up against black's king. That looks like an incredibly strong attacking idea.
It certainly does, but Alexandra does have counterattacks of her own, primarily in the center, and this is why she has to forget about this pawn on g7 and just counter.
Yeah, but I mean, when that pawn on g7 drops, okay, she's done that. I mean, is the black position dropping? So Alexandra's found, again, a very clever way to get counterplay there, because now that white pawn has 3 black pieces attacking it, a rook, queen, and a rook. Nana, what's her time like here?
14 seconds, and it's ticking down, but her heart rate is still very much saying that she's calm. She's gone up to 78. 4 seconds.
Wow.
And now she's lined up against the g7 point. But where's the threat?
You can go rook takes pawn here, I think.
Exactly.
Well, then there's knight takes bishop. She has played it, because if you take that rook, it's a check. So she missed this move. And I think Alexandra has found a great way to defend.
2 seconds, she's going to lose on time, and she does.
On time, yeah. Third match out of 4. She loses on time. I think her position was crumbling there, but still, it kind of had some chances there, but Alexandra kept the cool. Alexandra wins 2-0 to go through to the next round. Nana is out of the competition.
Yeah, what a game. I have to say, very tense. I mean, it did look like Nana was generating a play, but what can I say about Alexandra? She came in with a plan. She wanted to stay in the competition, and well, in the end, that's what she did by playing exceptionally good chess.
She did, yeah. I mean, she just kept cool under pressure, even though the heart rate was saying otherwise. She was the one who calculated the tactics better. She was under her king, some attacking scenarios there, some bad situation, but she was just a cooler player, really. Yeah. And that got her through to the next round. I'm sure she'll be very happy with that.
Yeah. And sadly, we do say goodbye to Nana. And here are some key moments. A nice decision by Alexandra Kosteniuk, trading off the light square bishops, weakening the white king. And later on, we're going to see that there was a bit of action, especially in the middle when Nana's clock was ticking. I think Nana did very well to generate as much play as she did against black king.
Around this stage, it looked like Nana was just playing great moves. This knight was finding a good square there. She started to line up things against black's king, but Alexandra's key maneuver was this rook on the side into the middle. Yeah. This was a really clever move to gain counterplay, and I don't know if we're going to see that move in a second. The white knight coming over, black defending against that one, and yeah, the time was obviously very important at that stage of the game. So yeah, and here it is, the last couple of moves, the rook taking the pawn in the center.
Yeah.
Now having no time at all.
Yeah, and look at Nana's clock. Her position is crumbling, but there you go, she loses on time. 3rd time actually in 4 games. And in the meantime, we are going to go over to David, who has an interview with Nana.
Well, we're here with Nana. Nana, I'm very sorry about your fortunes in the match. How are you feeling right now?
I don't know. I played terribly, so I don't know what to say.
What do you think was the deciding factor in this match for you?
Again, time, I guess, because I got really nice position with black in first game, and then I don't know, I was low on time, and then I started to make very bad decisions, and yeah, it was the first game. The second game I was pushing, but again I had very low on time, and that's why I blundered at the end everything. Yeah.
Between the two games, is there a specific moment that strikes out in your head, something you wish you had done differently?
Yeah, I guess I wasn't that much ready for this blitz. Maybe I need more practice in blitz. I mean, yeah, I think this is the main reason that even though I became a world champion in 2017 in blitz, after that my skills in blitz, I think it's getting worse. I don't know why, but yeah, it is what it is. But I hope I will work on it, and I hope it will get better.
How do you feel about blitz chess as the format compared to something like classical or rapid?
Once again, please.
Sorry, like how do you feel about blitz chess like compared to rapid or classical chess?
Yeah, I mean, the blitz, you should see. I mean, you should calculate everything very quickly, and that's the main difference between blitz format and like classical chess. So it's you should have a like very clear mindset, and you should calculate all lines very quickly. That's what it is.
What's next now after this tournament? What are you going to be doing next in terms of chess?
Yeah, after this tournament, this Grand Prix is going to happen in Cyprus, classical chess. So yeah, that's my next tournament.
And how do you feel about that tournament right now? Like, how do you feel about your standing so far?
You mean
the Grand Prix?
The Grand Prix? Yeah. Grand Prix. Yeah, I played the first tournament. I played quite well. I took third place, but in India, I even don't want to recall about this tournament. So I hope in Cyprus it will be much more better.
Well, thank you for being here, and sorry about how the tournament went, but we hope to see you back here soon. And Simon, Jovanka, back to you.
Well, we're here with the winner of that very exciting match, Alexandra, who in the end won 2-0. Do you feel a bit relieved now after that?
Yes.
Yeah.
It was like the most difficult part for me is just waiting for this match, because we're starting at like 7:40 p.m. and that means your whole day you're thinking about it. You cannot really prepare since it's just a blitz match, and you don't know really what openings your opponent will play. So it's just this waiting part is very, very tiring for me.
Very tense, and it's only 2 games, as we mentioned, so it's very hard to get in the role. But did you feel confident in both of the games?
No, you can never feel confident. I mean, thinking about what happened yesterday, right, when I was completely winning and having such a big time advantage, and I played just too fast. Sometimes you really need to find this balance in blitz between speed and quality. And yesterday, the speed was great, but the quality was terrible. So I was trying, to find this balance, but it's never easy. It's okay. We played, I think, 2 very complicated games. And the first game, I went to this line of the Karakan. I think it's the most complicated line, strategically complicated. So I just, when you play such lines, you just believe that your attack will prevail. Your attack will be faster on the queen side. And similar with the second game, you just believe that her attack won't work. That's how you just hope that somehow your attack will be stronger than your opponent's.
And it worked out well. So and the heart rate was, we saw your heart rate was 150, but Nana's heart rate was only around the 80 mark.
Yeah, but what we noticed is that even though your heart rate was relatively high, you were playing very good moves, and you seemed quite calm and focused on the board. Did you feel that?
But I'm used to my like nerve and heart beats and everything. It's quite a dramatic event for me, every chess game. That's why it's so tiring. That's why I need so much energy, and I really get tired so fast. That's why I try to run and do a lot of physical activity, because I just know that, I mean, with such a heart rate, I cannot really, you know, somehow make it lower. Just, yeah, this energy, it's required.
Is this one of the attractions of chess, though, the heart rate and the excitement you get from playing speed chess?
Well, you know, I'm not a very big fan of this excitement. That's why after chess, I don't need any extra adrenaline. You know, people in life, like living an ordinary, life, they're always looking for this adrenaline opportunities. And for me, no thanks. I better sit at home and just, I don't know, watch TV. That's it, because it's just too much every single chess game. And with blitz, you just add up, you multiply it by, I don't know, 1,000, and then you get like. And what's great here is that when you watch chess players play, you never would. I mean, you cannot really guess how tense they are, and I think with this event, we can somehow like show this background and show the intensity and how hard it is. Just 152, yeah, it's.
So how do you recover from these games? Like, what will you be doing now? Just going back, run?
I go and run. Yesterday I like run with not my regular pace. I mean, my regular pace like 6 minutes per kilometer. But yesterday I ran for 4-minute kilometer, just, you know, to take it out, everything.
I would call that sprinting.
Yes, I was sprinting,
so
in Berlin. So,
right.
and that's probably what I'm gonna do tonight, because I prefer to run like less in terms of distance, but faster, just to release the stress. Because
so if people are out on the streets of Berlin, they could see you in a blur running past them today.
That's me. That's me.
That's you. Yeah. There you go, straight
Yes.
around. So yeah, well, I mean, you have to release the tension somehow, because it's really hard to say how tense players get. But we, as you say, we get a glimpse of that tension in this event. It is tense, but it was very exciting. We can see the bracket now as well, so we can see whereabouts you are, and of course you go through to the next round. And your opponent is decided?
No, it's the winner of Mammadzada Kashlinskaya match.
And have you played these? Presumably you've played them before?
I've played against Alina quite a lot, because we were like compatriots. We used to be compatriots, now we're representing different federations. But yeah, I've played with her, but mostly in classical chess. In blitz we played just 1 or 2 games, not in my favor, I think they were. And with Gunay, if I'm not mistaken, we played an online match a few years ago, and I dominated. If I'm like recalling correctly, if it was her, because I tend to forget my online games completely, and if it was her, I won quite confidently. But again, online chess and over-the-board chess, it's just very different.
What do you find more stressful? Do you find
over the board? Definitely. You know, online chess, I don't care. I mean,
put some music on, relax, and
of course I care, and if I lose, it hurts, but not that much.
Sure.
As over the board for some unknown reason.
Yes, I can understand that. So it's going to be very exciting, and I mean, the tension is just building up all the time here. And remember, if you are in Berlin, just look out for the flash going past you later. So,
luckily, I'm not getting a speed ticket, you know, if I run.
Yes,
luckily.
Right. Past the cars. There you go. So yeah.
So tomorrow you will have a free day. Do you have any plans?
I'm doing my tax.
Have my sympathies.
Yes, I need to finish it because the deadline is approaching, and it's not over yet.
That might bring you down to earth a little bit, you know, from the excitement here. Just do a bit of tax. That's bound to
quite exciting.
Bring the heart rate down.
Or maybe up.
And the will to live as well.
Yeah, indeed.
Right.
Yeah. So well, thank you very much, and it was very exciting today. And good luck with your run. So
thank you.
And thank you for that.
to mention one of our partners, IT.com, which is the official partner of the Armageddon Championship Series. It's a domain registry like no other. It provides a platform for anyone to create innovative domains and effectively showcase their online presence. Don't miss this opportunity. Visit IT.com today and create your unique online image.
Yeah, another amazing day of chess, and well, that was a great interview. I really enjoyed that. I have to say, my running skills after blitz chess, maybe I need to do more of that.
I run out of the playing venue, and that's it.
Yeah, I've done that as well. Yeah, run to the nearest bar or run to the nearest burger place. That's more my kind of running.
With cheese.
Yes.
And here we can see the brackets. We have seen that Elisabeth Paehtz and Alexandra Kosteniuk powered their way through to the next round, and they are awaiting their opponents, which we will find out tomorrow. And well, first up it will be Gunay Mammadzada against Alina Kashlinskaya. Whoever loses will drop down to meet Alexandra Kosteniuk, and then we have another epic battle between Humpy Koneru against Bibisara Assaubayeva. And you have to remember, Bibisara, she has been the women's world blitz champion since she turned 17. So she's been
incredible, yeah,
women's blitz champion for like 2 years.
Yeah, and it's, you know, the event just heats up every day. That's what I like about it. And you know, I love hearing the different approaches to how they spend the rest days. You know, so I mean, if I had a rest day here, what would I do? I mean, I'd probably play a bit of blitz. I don't know if that's sad or not. You know, you're playing blitz here. What do you do on the rest day? More blitz. You know, but it is incredible that sort of adrenaline you get from playing this, and I hope you're getting a feel of that at home. You've got to move. I mean, it's very hard to replicate with anything else. One mistake in chess and you lose the game. I don't know any other sport or game really where you make a little mistake and you can lose everything. It's very unique in that way.
It is certainly unique. You know, I agree with you. Other sports, you know, you play tennis, you have one bad game, and then you know you have some chances to recover. In chess, you know, it depends on the type of mistake and the type of positions you have. Sometimes, you know, one blunder, it's a howler, and that's it. You say goodbye. And in this particular case, you get booted out of the tournament, which is harsh.
It is harsh. Jovanka, are you a good loser or a bad loser? I don't know if there's such a thing as a good loser.
There's no such thing as
there's no such thing. You can be a gentleman or gentlewoman over the board when you lose and be like, thank you, but you're actually thinking, Ugh. So. Yeah. But I mean, can we hear of any stories of you know, kicked a wall or anything like that?
I've never done anything like that. The worst thing I've done, I think. I'm sure people perhaps have different stories.
I want to hear this.
But I think it's just kind of give them a very limp handshake.
Oh, you're not a limp. You're not a wet. Awful. You're not a wet fish handshaker.
Yeah, I do this when I lose, and then I just storm.
Oh, I hate that. What, like that?
But not to begin the game. I'm giving you a fair.
Okay, but at the end, you just like put your hand out.
Yeah, but it's just like the pain is so real and it's internalized.
Okay.
But I mean, what can we say? Chess is chess. I mean, there's a lot of emotions that are there, and I remember once I did behave. I felt like I behaved a bit badly, so I then messaged my opponent and I apologized.
Oh, that's very nice. Yeah, I mean, the limp handshake, I mean, there's a handshake. You've got to shake your opponent's hand at the start of the game. It's meant to be a gentleman's game as well, and you're supposed to shake your opponent's hand at the end of the game. I've had a couple of opponents who, you know, I've beaten and they've knocked all the pieces over, stormed off. They said, how can I lose to such an idiot? I had one person saying that, and I was like, yeah, good point. But yeah, you know, so, but it's very funny. The emotions run very high during a game of chess. I mean, I think there's even been murders committed over a game of chess before.
Well, hopefully we won't see that, actually.
Hopefully not here.
Well, I mean, it's very natural. I mean, there's so much at stake, and tomorrow we are going to see more explosive chess as players play in the winners bracket. Now, the good thing is that they do have a second life.
That's
so
right.
Whoever loses will just simply get knocked down to the lower bracket, and they have another go.
Yeah,
but still,
it's still going to be tense. I mean,
we have the world's best women players.
I know, it's fantastic all over here, and I think they should make that a rule about. Maybe they should have a little run around on the rest day. Everyone needs to run. I think I'd come last in that. You do a bit of running, or no?
I
A
will.
little bit. You will. Okay. you'll
I'm
take part.
inspired by Alexandra's
Incredible, yeah.
absolutely the dedication.
Yeah.
You've heard it here. You know, first her post-game ritual is just simply just to run off the tension.
Yeah, it's a good way of doing it. So anyway, we're coming to the end of the show now. Good question for you at home. How do you relieve that pressure when you're playing chess or doing something else in life? And if you're not finding that pressure in your life, maybe you should be playing a bit of chess, yeah? Get the chessboard out, play against your dad, play against your brother, get the clock out, stare them in the eyes, and make the loser run around town. That sounds like a good forfeit for a game of chess. But it's been another fun day. Obviously, thank you very much to my great co-host, International Master Jovanka Houska, and I've enjoyed myself as always, and be back tomorrow. Make sure you're there tomorrow.
Same time, same place. See you tomorrow.